Good evening. You're watching News Cafe on the Solar News Channel. I'm Jing Magsaysay. We have with us today one of the busiest persons, if not the busiest person, this election season. We have Chairman Sixto Brillantes of the Commission on Elections. Chairman, thank you for being on the program.
Yeah, good evening, Jing. Good evening to your viewers.
Chairman, first of all, you finished printing 52 million ballots.
That's correct. That's the exact
22
number
days?
is about 333.
22 days ahead of schedule?
333,000, that's correct.
333,000.
Yeah.
$52 million, security features of the ballots. How secure are our ballots for the elections?
No, we have the same security features as what we did in 2010.
In 2010.
We have some additional, but we are not really disclosing this. These are the security features, which we're not going to disclose this early. Not yet.
Now that you finished printing the ballots, what's the next step, Chairman? Distribution?
Well, yes, part of it. All of these printed ballots will now go to our bodega, to our warehouse, somewhere in Metro Manila, which we will not also disclose.
This is a secure warehouse?
Yes, it's a secured warehouse. All of these are going there. This has already been vacuum packed.
Okay.
Because once we vacuum pack it at the NPO, the National Printing Office, this is delivered to the warehouse.
Okay.
And it will stay there until the deployment process would start.
Okay.
Sometime about the end part of April.
Okay, the deployment process, how long does it take, Chairman? For all the 52 million?
The deployment will have to wait for some other items that will be deployed together with the ballots, which means we're now in the process of configuring the PCOS machine in our Kabuya warehouse.
Okay.
We have also the ballot boxes, which we have to distribute likewise, and all other documents that is necessary to complete. All of this will have to go down from Metro Manila down to the precinct level. This is the total deployment system, which means it goes from our warehouse here in Metro Manila, it will now go into several hubs, warehouse hubs all over the country.
Okay.
And from there on, it would move to the provincial, and then down to the municipal level, and then down to the precinct level the day before the elections.
The day before the elections.
The day before,
and all along,
in the evening. That's correct.
And all along, the ballots are going to be secured.
Yes, secured in the sense that physically secured because these are vacuum-packed ballots.
Yes.
Plus, this will have to be placed in the hubs initially, and then it will be placed in the provincial treasurer's office.
And they're all under lock and key?
Oh, yes. Always secured by both our election officers, our provincial election supervisors, including the military and the police.
In case someone steals a package of ballots, will that someone be able to use the ballots?
No, very difficult, because ballots are what is known as ballot specific and precinct specific, which means that if you get the ballots, you'll be able to use these ballots only for a particular PCOS machine assigned to a particular clustered precinct. So that you'll have to bring it there in order to run it. These ballots cannot be run in any other PCOS machine. Because even the PCOS machines are identifiable for the particular clustered precinct.
So yung ginagawa nung araw, Chairman, na yung mga ibang kandidato na nagnanakaw ng balota para i-fill up tapos ilagay sa ballot box,
no way, it cannot be done.
That is
be
done anymore.
Sa manual yan.
Sa manual
now we cannot do this
voting
anymore. You can get as many ballots, even get extra. In the first place, there are no extra ballots now. So which means we printed exactly the required number.
According to the registered voters per precinct.
According to the registered voter, which is about 53,014,000 only. We have extra because 1 week before the elections, we will have what is known as the final testing. This will be 1 week before the elections. All the PCOS will be deployed already for the final testing and sealing of the PCOS machine. And then we will test 10 ballots per out of the 78,900 clustered precincts and PCOS machines. We will test 10 ballots. This is the extra.
Each of the machines?
Each of the machines will be fed 10 ballots and will be counted. And then it will be analyzed. If it's okay, then everything will be sealed. And this will open only on the day of the election.
The characteristics of the ballot, Chairman, they're all going to fit the PCOS machines?
Yes, it went through that process during the printing. After the printing, of the ballot, it goes immediately to the PCOS. We have about 400 PCOS machines at the NPO, and all of these ballots being printed will have to go through the PCOS machine.
The PCOS machines, like you said, are now being assembled in Cabuyao, Laguna.
That is correct.
When you say assembled, Chairman, what does that mean? How are you assembling the machine?
Well, the machine itself is finished. It's complete. When we bought it, we tested it already, it is okay.
Yes.
Now, when you assemble the PCOS machine itself, it will have to be placed in a particular box where all the other requirements are there. Like, for example, battery, adapter, and this will have to be placed in a ballot, in a box, and then sealed for shipment.
So
the assembly right now is parang isang kit. Yeah, it's a ballot kit, which means there are instructions, there are guidelines that will be used, how to put these things all together in one container. Yun ang ginagawa ngayon. They're putting it down one by one.
So one container, lahat ng kailangan for one PCOS machine kasama doon.
That's right.
And they will be shipped to the precinct. Precinct specific kasi per container.
Correct.
Per kit.
May identity yung PCOS, may identity yung particular precinct.
Now, in terms of security again, Chairman, the PCOS machines are secure all the way to the precinct.
Correct. That's right. Up to now. In fact, we are secured very well in the Cabuyao warehouse. We are now surrounded by military and police. We still have much of a plainclothes people around. Kasi there are about 1,000 people working, and we have to make sure that nobody will commit any kind of sabotage action there. Very sensitive lahat itong parts na ito.
Operationally, the PCOS machines cannot be shipped out all on the same day. Is that correct?
Cannot. No? We start with the farthest one. We start with the Mindanao area, and then we'll go closer and closer to
Metro Manila. All those PCOS machines are going to be tracked and secured until they reach their point of destination. Ganun ba?
Those that will be shipped, meron mga vapor, which means barko, the Visayas especially, where island mga provinces and municipalities, we already have contracted the services of the forwarders. The entire Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Air 21, yung Tugo sa Visayas, which is actually all the Boitis, and then another in Mindanao. So these are all contracted already. We had finished the bidding, and we have set up the entire scheme of deployment, including the reverse deployment, actually, pabalik.
Pabalik after the election.
Kasama niyon, yes.
Let's get to that later. But when should a PCOS machine be at the municipal level? That's the last stop before going to the barangay.
Well, it should be before the May 6 testing and sealing. May 6 is the testing and sealing. It should be in the precinct level already by May 6.
Precinct level by May 6?
Yes, because of the actual testing and sealing. And then after that, there are two options. Either you retain them in the voting center or bring it back to the municipality to go back to the precinct on election day.
Paano yun, Chairman? If you maintain it at the voting center, bahala na yung local officials mag-safeguard ng PCOS machine.
Hindi, kami pa rin. Which means we will entrust it to, actually, in the voting center, there is no new. Isa bang maraming eskwelahan, one schoolhouse. Meron dyan supervisor. District supervisor, DEX, which is actually deputies namin. Then we will just augment this with some kind of security features, PNP, police.
In some areas. No? Especially
if not, kung hindi masyadong secure dahil nakakalat na yan, we would prefer if the municipal building is closed, we would all bring it back on the same day, sa May 6. Tapos i-redeploy again.
Including all the paraphernalia of the PCOS machine, especially the CF cards and the security
Hindi
keys.
pa. Mga balota, hindi pa. Nakasecure yan doon sa kwan.
Nakasecure pa siya.
Papasok lang doon sa testing would be the
machine.
The machine itself plus the 10 test ballots. 10 test ballots and all the other paraphernalia like the thermal paper, which would produce the election returns and everything.
So after the testing, they have a choice whether the machine stays in the polling place, in the precinct, or goes back to the municipal.
Very important yung testing, Ching, because this is what is known as the testing and sealing. Because after the testing and everything turns out all right, the PCOS machine is now officially sealed. Sealed. Pag sinabi mo sealed, hindi na pwedeng galawin yan. It will be opened only, and it can only be opened by the BEI members.
With the security key?
with certain kind of a security. Meron sila mga password to open it.
Okay.
Seal na yan, hindi na pwedeng galawin. Pag ginalaw mo yan, hindi na po pwede sa election day.
Yung BAI, Chairman, yung security keys nila, yung security passwords nila, when will it be given to them?
Kasama yun doon sa kit.
Kasama sa kit? Para ibibigay na ba kagad yun pagdating ng kit? Or?
Yeah, because we'll have to control the distribution there. We're in the level of the provincial treasurer, municipal treasurer. Ang unang distribution niyang kwan provincial going to the municipalities, as a municipal treasurer going to the precinct.
Okay.
Yung kit mismo will include everything already. The instructions will be there. We have our election officers there.
Yes.
Together with the municipal treasurer.
Okay.
They will have to coordinate with each other para do sa distribution, do sa mga BEIs.
Chairman, mahirap mangdaya using the PCOS machines. If I'm a politician, I can't change the numbers that are in the machine. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm saying that's only mahirap. It's practically impossible.
Practically impossible.
Madaya.
However, I can sabotage the process.
That's right. That's the only thing that we have to worry. That's why security is very important. Yung sabotahe, yan ang hindi natin maka. That's human.
Pwedeng buhusan ng tubig or...
Pero all other things like aside sabotage, human ng tao ang gumagawa niyan When we say security, talagang binabantayan mo yung PCOS, you're watching the ballots and all the other paraphernalia.
So it's very important to safeguard the physical condition of the PCOS machine, the ballots, and all the paraphernalia that comes with the kit, the election kit.
Correct. And that's why we're very security conscious. Very, very. Kaya hindi namin sila sabi, kailan.
Are there areas that need more security than others?
No, more of the deployment lang naman. Right now, for example, we don't want to disclose where the hubs are.
Yes.
We don't want to disclose what time do we move in, move out.
Right.
In fact, we don't even want to disclose it to the police and the military, which will accompany. We'll just give them a few hours notice para hindi rin nila alam. Because if you tell them, let's say 2 days before, not because we don't trust our deputies.
Baka may lumabas na information.
Baski paano, baka may mag-leak out
Right.
We're very, very, sabi ko, security conscious dyan. Anything can happen. If you hijack a big number, marami maapektuhan.
That's right. Then you'll have to do the process all over again.
That's
in
correct.
That certain area.
Although there are what we have known as risk reduction, contingency, continuity programs, we do have that, just in case.
Okay, we've talked about the physical, securing the ballot, securing the everything we need from the PCOS machines down to the paraphernalia. Next, Chairman, let's talk about the things we can't see, the data. We'll talk about that when we return. We'll take a short break. News Cafe will return after these reminders. You're still watching News Cafe on the Solar News Channel, and we're still joined by our special guest, COMELEC Chairman Sixto Brillantes, in this one-on-one interview. Chairman, thanks for joining us again. We talked about the machines. Now let's talk about, like I said, the things that we can't see, the data. First of all, how is the deal with Smartmatic and Dominion going? How's the agreement? Are we getting the source code?
Yeah, we're almost there. I can say at this point we're almost there. We are winding up actually with the last points of the differences between Smartmatic and Dominion. Dominion actually canceled the license of Smartmatic way back last year.
In 2012.
May of 2012. That's about a year ago. And because of this, Dominion refused to give the source code, which is actually necessary for us to function. But the source code has already been in the possession of our the independent certifier, the one that really reviews the source code. An independent certifier in Denver, Colorado. And they've already finished, yes, SLI.
This is SLI Global.
They've finished it already. They've certified that it's okay, everything is okay. So there's really no problem about conducting the elections. It has already been certified independently.
In terms of the functionality of the source code?
Functionality is tested already by our own technical evaluation committee here, the OST. and all the rest.
But
So
the
we can
legality of
proceed.
the source
But
code.
the only problem is that we don't have the source code, which is the human readable instructions.
Right.
We have the binary code, which is actually the one that will go into the machine.
Correct.
The CF card and then into the machine.
Right.
But without this source code, nobody will be able to check what are the instructions in the machine because nobody can read the binary, which is the machine readable.
When do you expect SLI Global to release the source code?
The SLI will not release the source code unless the Dominion gives its go signal. And this is what we're working on right now. Dominion, I have been talking to Dominion since end of November last year. There were negotiations, and at first they were I was talking to them, trying to convince them that don't involve us in your fight with Smartmatic in Delaware, because they have a legal dispute there about money, principally about collections, money.
Are they seeing it that way? Na hindi tayo kasama doon sa usapan sa Smartmatic? Is Dominion seeing it that way?
Initially, no. They said they wanted to use us and say, if you give us what Smartmatic owes us, we'll give you the source code. And I said, no, don't use us. Wag naman. Wag naman gamitin kaming collection agency. And Smartmatic is here, you're not there. You're not here in the Philippines. Sabi ko, good faith lang, bigyan nyo na sa amin. And then discuss it in Smartmatic. I'll try to bring both parties together. Hindi naman kami involved, pero kami nasasaktan.
So the talks you have with Dominion are all on good faith?
Yeah, and these are all informal because Dominion does not have any personality here in the Philippines.
And you don't have a contract with Dominion?
We don't have any contract with them. We cannot even legally sue them for anything because when they cancel their license with Smartmatic, they don't have any representation here in this country anymore.
Yeah.
So these are all informal. Wala, nothing in writing.
So nakikiusap lang tayo sa Dominion?
Yeah, nakikiusap lang until finally, medyo pumapayag na. Sabi niya, but we have to discuss it with Smartmatic because we want to make sure that whatever agreement we enter into here in relation to the source code will not affect our claims in the Delaware case. Baka magkaroon ng conflict lang. And this is where we're having a little problem.
And how is your relationship with Smartmatic, COMELEC and Smartmatic?
No problem naman. Kasi Smartmatic is here. They have contracts with us.
Okay.
While they do not have the entire control as what they did in 2010, they practically run the entire process. Now, they still have some contracts, especially the technical aspect, like the provision for providing the CF cards. They were the ones that got the contract here.
Yes.
The transmission aspect, the assistance in the transmission, they're involved.
Yes.
Meron pa kami, may consultancy kami sa kanila.
Okay.
Because they have to have our backup consultants coming from Venezuela will be coming in to assist us. Pero kami na nagpapatakbo eh. It's actually COMELEC already running practically everything. Just Smartmatic is behind.
Okay.
Giving us saying na baka ito mas maganda, suggesting as consultants. So
What
they
if
have several
Dominion-
contracts with us.
What if Dominion says, wag na lang natin i-release yung source code sa Pilipinas?
Hindi nga namin. If that is the case, then there is really nothing to review. No? Technically nothing to review. Because what has to be reviewed is the SLI independently certified source code.
Okay.
And since SLI is not going to bring it to us, then there is nothing to review. But Smartmatic do have a copy of this source code, and they're offering this as an alternative.
If we don't get the source code
If we don't
from
get the
Dominion.
source code from Dominion.
So we can conduct the elections?
We can, well, the elections we can conduct because we have the binary code.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
What we don't have is the human source
review.
code. But they have. And they say this is exactly the same
Okay.
as the Dominion. And I said, no, I don't like it. I want the Dominion. That is the real one. They said, this is exactly the same.
So if Dominion doesn't give the go signal to SLI to release a source code, what are our problems?
Well,
What are
the second
problems we're going to
alternative is that we'll have to make use of the Smartmatic. And we'll just have to verify and make some checks and verification whether it is actually a completely the same as the source code, which is with the SLI.
The software.
Yeah, exactly the same software.
When are you conducting these checks already, Chairman?
Yes, we've started with it, just in preparation as a contingency measure. As we continue to negotiate with Dominion, we're also starting to review already the Smartmatic source code.
Is this part of the pre-lat test, the preliminary logic and accuracy test?
Accuracy test. So the pre-lat is being done in the Cabuyao area. It has nothing to do with the source code.
Iba pa yun?
Iba pa yun.
Okay.
The pre-lat is actually the assembly production system.
So, if the source code isn't released, tuloy pa din na election?
Wala. And we find that the worst situation will be this. Source code is not given by Dominion. Smartmatic source code is not the same, or there are some problems.
Yes.
Then we will have no source code.
But we will be able to vote?
We will be able to conduct the elections because we have the binary code.
Okay.
Which has already been certified, as I've said, by SLI itself. Right. SLI has said that this binary is the same as what we tested.
Will we get in trouble legally if we do that?
No, the elections will be very fair and we will conduct. The only thing that will happen, that's why I want trying to explain to the public, yung source code, the significance of the Dominion source code is not really the legal aspect of it, but the credibility. Credibility aspect lang. Meaning, if the source code is not reviewed by political parties and all other interested groups, may duda sila. Kasi they will not be able to review the binary code. Hindi nila alam
kung tama yun o mali.
Hindi nila alam. Pero actually, we are relying on the certification of the independent certifier, SLI, which says, eto source code, na-review na namin, this is okay, it's accurate, it's proper, and everything is okay. And this is the binary code, which is actually the machine code.
Okay.
And they gave us the machine code, tatakbo na talaga ang eleksyon. Only, hindi marireview ng political parties.
So bottom line, Chairman, what you're saying is, by sometime this month, there's a chance that Dominion will tell SLI to release the source code to us, to the COMELEC and to Smartmatic, and we will have the source code.
That's right. And we open it up immediately for the review.
For the review.
By the political parties. In fact, there is already a lined up political party.
Okay.
PDP Laban is already asked for it.
Okay. And if not, we will still go on with the elections using the binary code, but there will be no facility for review.
For review of the source code.
For review of the source code.
Correct. And, well, I just wanted to add, just to make sure that everybody will understand. In 2010, we also had the source code. It's available. It's still in the central bank. Dominion was here. They actually put it in escrow with the central bank. But nobody saw the source code in 2010. Nobody was able to review it.
Correct.
And yet we had the elections, everything went on.
Yeah.
So
and the results, everything is history now.
Yeah, there is some question mark because wala nga nakakita
ng
source code. But we proceeded and everything is history. Now, this will happen again. We don't want this to happen. We want the source code available for review para hindi pareho ng 2010 na nagkaroon ng dudang konti.
Pero kung may question naman sa results, meron pa naman data na pinagbabasihan eh. There's still the ballots
that is
in the election
precisely the OMRs, the AES that we have is the OMR system.
Right.
Which means that meron talagang paper trail.
Yeah.
I mean, the results cannot be questioned. If it's questioned, there's always the ballots. That's the difference between an OMR system and the DRE, where you just point kung sino bilang boto mo, tas wala na.
Right. Hindi mo alam kung saan napunta yung boto mo.
Yeah, and you don't really know. There is no recount in a DRE system.
Right.
There's no OMR, may recount ng balota.
Now, Chairman, let's talk about the data, how it's going to flow. No? When people vote, they will use the PCOS machine. No? So, voting opens at 7 in the morning and
up to 7 in the
closes at 7 in the evening.
That's correct.
When voting stops at 7 in the evening, all the numbers will be inside the PCOS machine. Hindi pa tinatransmit yun, yung data.
Tama. During the entire process of voting, wala.
Iniipon lang ng PCOS machine.
Ini-scan lang yun. Iniipon lang sa CF card.
Iniipon sa CF card. Then at 7 p.m., the BEIs will then start transmitting.
Correct. We'll close the voting.
We'll close the voting.
Tapos na. And then we will now press the button for transmission.
For transmission. Okay. Where will the PCOS machines transmit?
Yeah, to 3 servers, actually. 3 servers. The official server is that it has to go through the process of canvassing. Meaning it will have to go through the Municipal Board of Canvassers or the City Board of Canvassers, as the case may be. And this will be consolidated, the results. It will prepare exactly the same documents. Lahat ito automated. Statement of votes, certificate of canvass, and then it will move up to the provincial level, and then it will move up to the national level. para the senatorial results. Lahat yan consolidated, tuloy-tuloy.
Okay.
No human intervention. Tuloy-tuloy yan.
The data transmits to the server at the municipal level.
The data transmitted is the election returns, the total results coming from the PCOS.
Okay.
The PCOS, pagka pinindot na yung button for transmission, it will now come out with the results for that particular precinct. It is transmitted directly to the MBOC.
Okay.
Tapos, tuloy-tuloy na yun, it will consolidate itself insofar as the MBOC copy is concerned. But that same pressing of the button for transmission will also transmit directly to COMELEC.
To the COMELEC national
Yes, we
server.
have our own, our national support center will have our own server, which will receive the same data that's transmitted
by the individual
MBOC.
PCOS machines.
Yeah, coming from the same PCOS machine. And then there is the third server.
The third server is the...
That is, before it was known as the KBP. Now we're trying to devise a new term for it.
Okay.
Hindi necessarily
Hindi na siya KBP server.
Although the administering agency would
it's still the
be KBP.
Okay, so 3 servers all at the same time from all of the 78,000 or 80,000 PCOS machines that we're going to use.
Will be transmitting.
Will be transmitting, no? At practically the same time, no?
Practically, yeah. Hindi practically almost simultaneously.
Almost, no? Almost.
Isa lang yan. Always ahead lang palagi yung MBOC because that's the most important.
Right.
Our server will just be parang support server lang ito. Will never be used for the official count anyway.
Okay. So, the same data, exactly the same data, will be transmitted 3 times to 3 places. No, once. Will be transmitted once to 3 servers.
Yes.
Okay, so that means dapat pare-pareho lahat yung numbers.
Dapat.
No?
Dapat.
And everybody has access to the numbers. Media, the political parties.
It's principally the KBP server will be the one that's open to everybody.
Okay.
Open to everybody. COMELEC, hindi namin i-open yan, exclusively for us. There's only one that will happen now. There will be what is known as a mirror server, which we created under our new resolution.
Okay.
A mirror server. This is not a 4th server. It is a mirror of the COMELEC. Pero binigay na namin to. This is what there was a little fight. No?
Has the system been tested from the PCOS machine to the 3 servers? The data transmission?
Yes, this is what we used in the 2010.
Yes.
This is what happened in 2010, tatlo yan.
Oo.
No?
Exactly the same system.
Exactly the same system.
Yung mga problema nung araw, mangyayari ba uli, like transmission in some areas?
Yes. We cannot say naman na perfect ang transmission. Madami masyadong contingencies. Which means we're preparing for it. In preparing for the transmission, we know where the areas are, where the signal is weak.
Right.
Meron ho kaming area. Alam natin yan because we have some contacts with the telecoms already. National Telephone Communication, kausap na namin. We know where the areas are. We're putting in some additional beacons in these areas to make sure transmission will be there. Pero magkakaroon pa rin ng problema. Magkakaroon pa rin ng problema because tiyempo-tiyempo yan sa oras eh.
Correct.
And there are most cases, nakaka-transmit ka sa isa and then there are some problems already in the others. So nagkakaroon ng discrepancy.
Okay.
But not too much. Really.
We've run out of time. Just a final question. How are you feeling today? Are you relaxed? Are you confident? Are you...
No, I'm relaxed. In fact, this
you
is
sleep well at night?
Only because I have a feeling that we will be able to get. The only matter that's left is the source code.
Okay.
If I will be able to arrange that we get the source code from Dominion, then that settles the final issue that I have. And that would put in more credibility to the forthcoming elections in May 13. Wala na kaming problema. All the rest that's happening now up to about the first week of May will all be the winding up process, meaning assembly, tapos na ang ballot boxes, arranging all the deployment. All of these are physical arrangements already.
Endgame na.
And we are all prepared for it.
Okay.
Wala kaming question.
Chairman, thank you very much for your time. You're a very busy person, I know, and we appreciate your coming to the studio.
But it is very important for us to go around so that the people would know, because we have been charged of being too, well, concealing so many things. Now is the time, since we were concealing at time, because we don't have time to go around.
Correct.
Now I promise everybody that we should go around and start explaining to the people, because it's most of our detractors are the one talking. Sabi ko siguro sumagot na rin tayo konti-konti.
Well, it's good that you talked with us.
Yes.
Para malaman ng taong bayan.
Tama.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank our very special guest, Chairman Sixto Brillantes, for being with us today in this one-on-one interview. Join us again next week for another 360-degree discussion right here on News Cafe. I'm Jing Magsaysay. Salamat po.